Jacob Chansley, also known as the QAnon Shaman, has entered into a plea deal earlier today with prosecutors regarding the charges against him, of course, for his actions during the January 6th Capitol insurrection. So now, the 34-year-old Chansley pleaded guilty at a hearing earlier at about 11 a.m. to a charge of obstructing an official proceeding, which is a felony punishable by a maximum sentence of up to 20 years in prison or a fine of $250,000. So very, very unlikely that he's going to get that full amount of time. And of course, his lawyers have been arguing quite a bit on his behalf, as obviously he's going to do. But they're actually arguing that he has some mental issues. Okay? So now, his lawyer, Watkins, had made numerous comments about his client in the case over the past few months in order to paint Chansley as a sympathetic figure. For example, apparently one of the arguments was, oh, no, he was there, he was singing the songs of his people. Oh, okay, yes. And not only that, but, singing those inspirational shaman songs, which sounds more like a bard to me than a shaman. I'm just saying. But they also, added that he had protected the muffins. There were muffins in the break room that people were trying to steal. And he was like, no. I will use my shaman powers to prevent you from stealing said muffins. I am the muffin protector, the muffin man. Obviously, the court didn't buy it. This is DC District Judge Royce Lamberth, who, by the way, ruled in his case today. But this was back in March. He said, defendant characterizes himself as a peaceful person who was welcomed into the Capitol building on January 6th by police officers. The court finds none of his many attempts to manipulate the evidence and minimize the seriousness of his actions persuasive. Ryan Riley of the Huffington Post also reached out to Watkins for comment on the plea deal. And Watkins replied with a statement saying that Chansley was asking to no longer be referred to as the QAnon Shaman. No more QAnon Shaman. Don't call him that. I mean, whatever you do, don't call the QAnon Shaman. Oops. Oh, no. Chansley, Watkins wrote, was a long avowed and practicing shaman, but he had repudiated the Q previously assigned to him and requests future references to him be devoid of the use of the letter Q. Okay, you know what? I respect different religions. Okay, so I will no longer call him QAnon Shaman. He will now be henceforth known as the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man. God-awful excuse. Jesus. What the fuck? All right. But, okay. So, serious issue, though. So, he's a QAnon guy. But his lawyer says, well, not anymore, because turns out he's kind of mental. Oh, no kidding. Watkins asked for patience and compassion for his client, describing Chansley as nonviolent, peaceful, and possessed of a genuine mental health issues, which rendered them more vulnerable to the propaganda of the day, but who, at the end of the day, seeks to be accountable for his actions. I see. So, kind of boils down to insanity defense, because of course, and I love the argument when you just kind of boil it down, is basically he's saying, well, just look at the guy. Obvious nut job, but like super harmless nut job. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not buying it. Of course. He knew what he was doing and why. It was to reinstall a defeated former president in a coup. That's what it essentially was. All right? And so, yes, he was exposed to the same right-wing propaganda that actually we have all heard, because I've covered it extensively on the show. We've heard the same propaganda. The only difference is we actually chose to believe in reality as opposed to whatever, like the alternative facts that they believe in. And so at the end of the day, well, I'm sorry if you don't believe in reality. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and it doesn't mean that your actions in the real world don't have consequences. They absolutely do. So you chose to believe that propaganda, and so your actions are on you. That said, I'm not completely heartless. If the guy gave up QAnon, well, that's a good step in the right direction, and I'll commend him for that. But doesn't absolve him of guilt. And honestly, the turnaround is a bit convenient for a lot of these folks that are like, oh, no, I was deceived. Oh, no, please give me a lesser sentence. No, seems convenient because he literally was begging the court for leniency. Sorry, you do an insurrection, you got to face the consequences. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.